You business people in the audience, if you're not invested in Africa, then you will be missing one of the most important emerging opportunities in the world. Thank you.
Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has a knack for making people listen. That's why Forbes and Time magazine listed her as one of the world's most powerful and influential people. A renowned economist, her thoughts and opinions are widely sought after. Even Twitter sent her a request to join its board. On the global stage, she's a veritable rock star, and other rock stars seem to agree. Okonjo-Iweala spoke to me about why she's telling the world to invest in Africa and why Africans themselves should do the same.
What should, in your view, women in Africa, powerful women in Africa, do? And what can they do for poor women in Africa?
I think that you should use your position to advance women. And it took me some time to realize, because I've always been interested in how can I help, what can I do to materially change the position of women, even when I was at the World Bank, looking at it from a policy level. But when I was finance minister the first time, I think I was so concentrated on doing a good job professionally, doing the debt relief for my country that, cut out 30 billion in debt, all that I didn't really focus on, okay, how can I use this position of finance minister to really advance women? The second time around, I realized, my God, I have an instrument. Instead of talking about it and asking others, I can do something. I could do it because the President Goodluck Jonathan, was very supportive of women. I said to him and to my colleagues, ministers that would volunteer to get additional results that would improve the lives of women, they will get extra budget. Mr. President, will you support me on that? He said yes. The Minister of Health wanted to do additional work that would benefit women suffering from fistula. He was able to get more resources to do that. Minister of Communication Technology wanted to help girls access more skills in school from technology, more budget. So I suddenly woke up, and just to give you one example, there was another program supporting women entrepreneurs. I just realized, just do it. Get the support. Use the place you are to advance women. Don't wait.
Some of the best people to invest in on the continent are the women. Africans, and particularly African women, who against all odds have developed businesses, some of them world-class.
What would you say are the advantages for the rest of the world of doing business with the women of Africa?
African women are very entrepreneurial. So finding the specific programs and methods to support them, because it's not easy for them to access skills. It's not always about money, by the way. Sometimes they need the expertise and the skills, to get their business to the next level, to leave the small level and jump. And sometimes they're at the middle level, they want to jump to a bigger level. How do they do it? So getting them the advice on, some of them are very successful, but don't know how to manage success. So they can really scale. So how do you get them that knowledge? And we thought that peer-to-peer, you could look at businesses, men and women who'd already succeeded in, and use them, gather them together so they can form a kind of mentoring, group for those who have not succeeded. Okay, access, the inevitable access to finance. When I was in government, there was a program called You Win, a youth enterprise with innovation. And the idea was people 40 and below, let's support them to register their businesses, give them the technical capacity, introduce them to banks. We took 2,000 entrants who had to write a business plan, by the way. And we noticed that women own 50% of enterprises, but only 17% of applications are women. Something is not right. We have to target women. So we did one program for women just to start. We saw some of them did not have computers access. There were many things, and we solved them. We got 2,000 women. They were creating an average of 6 jobs per enterprise. So it can be done.
I have heard you talk about your optimism about young people and your faith that they will take the continent in the right direction. In which countries and regions do you see a groundswell of next generation leaders ready to take the reins?
There is no country I've been to I've not met the most talented young people, men and women, who are ready to lead. They are so well educated now. They are also so technology savvy. So they are not as left behind as they used to be. That's why I'm optimistic. But the question to them is, this leadership, I don't think from what I've seen in my life and career, someone is going to come and hand it to you. If you fall into it, they will even try to take it away from you if you're trying to really do something positive. Because there's still a lot of negative forces in leadership. It's not all, it's changing, and changing for the better. I see more and more countries where there are visionary leaders, but there are still many where the vision is not about the country or where it's going, but it's about self, it's about group, it's about tribe, it's about ethnicity. We have to rise above that, and it's the young people who can do it.
What would your advice be to the next generation of young leaders? What mistakes would you say they should not repeat?
I think they should not repeat the mistakes of, they should rise above self. And remember, our continent started with a lot of visionary leaders who fired us up in the 1960s and 70s, and we were so proud. And then something happened in between, and we lost it. Now it's about how Africa can be strong, integrated as a whole, and then, sort of facing off against the world. How Africa can be strong, seizing the technology challenge, and saying we have bright young people who can even make this work for us. So that's what the advice I have for them. Don't go back to the narrow vision. Go to the big vision of what your country can be, and not just your country, but what the continent can be. If things don't work, act. But act positively, not destructively. You need to act to make your country better. If there's a chance for democracy and you can vote, young people talk a lot, but they don't go to vote, by the way, in country after country. So put your voice, any other form of activism that can leverage. And if you look at the people who are in these groups, there are a lot of women. So women are also saying, we want change.